Sorry, I forgot to start the recording. This is your teacher Haris Bhatt, and you are seeing my YouTube channel. Today we are going to discuss the topic of business purchase, and we are going to solve a question which has come in October-November 22-32. October-November 22-32. What difference this question has created in A levels, that it contains both parts. From the point of view of dissolution, we have to prepare capital account, and for that we have to prepare realization account, bank account, and DB public limited company account has also needs to be prepared by the SARA in the books of SARA, because it is written, prepare the following ledger account in the books of SARA. Who is SARA? SARA's business is going to be dissolved, and DB public limited company is going to purchase that business. That's why from the new company's point of view, the question has also asked us to prepare the statement of financial position. But this type of question in which we have to prepare DB limited company account also, that has never come in the past papers. So let's study the question. October-November 22-32. Sarah was a sole trader who agreed to sell her business to DB Limited, as I discussed, that it is the takeover of sole trader by the company. Summarize statement of financial position immediately prior to the sale of Sarah's business shared the following. सारा की बैलेंस शीट के नॉन करंट एसेट दिए हैं, करंट एसेट दिए हुए, डीबी लिमिटेड के भी दिए हुए, बैंक है, कैपिटल अकाउंट दिया हुआ आपको, ऑर्डिनरी शेयर्स, रिटेन्ड अर्निंग्स, करंट अकाउंट में ट्रेड पेबल दिए हुए, और शॉर्ट टर्म बैंक लोन दिया हुआ है सारा का, यानी सारा हैज टू पे बैक this short-term bank loan of 20,000. The term of sale of the business were as follows. The purchase consideration was 2,40,000. This was settled with 30,000 in cash and 1,50,000 ordinary share of $1 each in DB Public Limited Company. DB Public Limited Company took over all the assets and liabilities of Sarah's business except for the loan and the bank. Bank तो हम normally take over करते ही नहीं है. But this time, the short-term loan, which is given in the books regarding the Sarah business, that has also not been taken over by the DB Limited. Sir, कहाँ लिखा है? ये रहा. Short-term bank loan 20,000 of Sarah has not been taken over by DB Public Limited Company. Okay. Non-current assets were taken over at a value of 2,03,000 and inventory at a value of 14,000. It means that other assets are taken over at book values except loan and bank. So first of all, let me go for the calculation of purchase consideration, and that is from the point of view of dissolving business, from the point of view of Sarah's business, which is basically going to be dissolved. So let me calculate calculation of purchase consideration. So to दी हुई है, yes, दी हुई है, but I just want to make it more clearer, more understandable for you. That's why I'm going for the detail. So here I will write first the bank, because he has made the payment through bank, which is 30,000. It is written. The purchase consideration was 2,40,000. This was settled with 30,000 cash and 1,50,000 ordinary share of $1 each. So it means that the amount of ordinary shares, we don't know the amount of ordinary shares yet, but we know the total amount of purchase consideration, that is going to be 2,40,000. So the remaining amount is going to be your ordinary shares. So the ordinary shares given to Sarah by DB Limited Company for the purchase of business is 2,10,000. Yes, you are right in saying this. Okay, sir. इसमें share capital की जो amount है, because the number of shares which are issued are 1,50,000. So share capital will be 1,50,000 into 1, that is 1,50,000. And the other amount is going to be the share premium. So let's write the share premium also. But we don't need that in this part. We will require this calculation in which part? Yes, we will require this calculation in when we are going to prepare the balance sheet of the new company. Then we will require this particular. So the total shares which are issued are 2,10,000, and the remaining amount is going to be, that is premium. So obviously 1,50,000 is the amount of share capital and 60,000 is the premium. You can calculate the value of per share premium also by dividing 60,000 from 1,50,000. You can calculate it. वैसे कितनी आती है इसकी जरूरत तो हमें नहीं है. We don't need that, but we can calculate that. So why not? 60,000 divided by
2.5.
0.4, my dear. This is 0.4.
Okay, sir. Okay.
60,000 divided by 1.5, you will get 0.4. But this differentiation we need only in the balance sheet, right? Not in this part. Now let's talk about that. First of all, we are not discussing about the preparation of balance sheet, because preparation of balance sheet, whenever you are going to prepare the new company's balance sheet, we have to go for a certain calculation. We have to go for a certain working. हमें उस चीज को निकालने के लिए वर्किंग करनी पड़ती है. किस चीज को निकालने के लिए? Anybody who can tell me? In order to prepare the new company's balance sheet, there is something which we need to calculate by calculating the net assets, which is going to combine with the new company's balance sheet, that is goodwill. So we will do the calculation of goodwill, but later on. Why, sir? Because the first part, the A part, doesn't require us to prepare the balance sheet. So we don't need to go for the calculation of goodwill till now. Now, I have to prepare the bank account, capital account, and DB Limited company account. And for that, the first thing I want to do, that is realization account. तो वो तो बनाना पड़ता है, आपको पता ही है. Let's prepare the realization account first. Through normal way. So what we do, we know that we will transfer the assets, right, at the book values in realization account, and the liabilities which are given in the question. So non-current asset 120,000, inventory 17,000, trade receivable 15,000. Other than cash, let me write it down. 1,20,000, that is non-current asset. Then we have trade receivable, sorry, inventory, I believe. It is written inventory if I'm not wrong. First. $17,000. Trade receivable is 15,000. Right? Then it comes on the credit side. Oh, sorry. Then it comes bank. Bank will not be transferred. Then liabilities, trade payable 21,000 and 20,000 is short-term bank loan. So I will write trade payable 21,000 and loan, short-term loan is 20,000. This is how I have transferred the value in the realization account. Now let's see that either we have paid some amount directly, not yet, right? So now I have to go pass an entry for the purchase consideration. And that entry is going to be DB Limited is going to be debited because he's our trade receivable by 2,40,000, and realization account is going to be credited by 2,40,000. DB Limited is a trade receivable because सारा जो कि सारा हम है, हमने उससे पैसे लेने, और रिलेशन अकाउंट जो है वो आपका क्रेडिट हो जाएगा. Loan will not be taken over because it is given in the question that it is not being taken over except the loan and the bank. It means that Fareed, we have to pay loan directly. If you want to transfer it to realization account, you can do that. That's not a problem. And if you want to pay the loan directly, you can do that also. Both the things will give you the same result. But in mark scheme, generally they used to pay other than third-party liability directly. That's why I will pay loan directly. I'm not going to put it in the realization account. So DB Limited is going to be, I will write here, realization account is credited by 2,40,000 because of DB Limited. इसका total कर लेते हैं बेटा. And the whole profit will be given to Sara because there are no partners. The whole profit will be given to Sara. Whatever profit will come, there can be loss also. So let me go for the total of the credit side first. and then you need to subtract the debit side. ओके, टोटल कितना आ रहा है जी? टोटल इज
281.
sorry, we are paying directly then
281.
281, and then subtract the credit side
129, sir.
129. So if you want to pay the loan directly, you're right, Preet, then you don't need to write loan in the realization account. So I'm going to rub it up. But if you write the loan in realization account, it means that you are going to make it payment through realization. It will also be correct. So it won't
Sir,
deduct any marks. But generally, third party liability is paid directly rather than a third party, other than third party liability, we used to pay other liabilities directly. So it will become 1,09,000 is going to be the profit. Yes.
सर ये लोन वाला नहीं समझ आ रहा मुझे, जब उसने मांगा ही नहीं तो फिर हम क्यों उसको डाल रहे?
Meaning, it's not about that either he has asked us to, go for the loan or not. We used to transfer all liabilities, third party liabilities in the realization account. That's why assets are going to be credited and realization account is debited because of these assets. Same is the case with the liabilities. They will be credited with the name realization account actually because of realization account is credited because of trade payables. Short-term loan, if you want to transfer, you can transfer, I'm telling you. But if you will not transfer, then you have to pay the short-term loan directly. And that will still be acceptable. In this case, in which I am going to make the payment, then I will make it paid, then you will be able to understand. Now I'm going to prepare the DB Limited account, which has never been prepared ever before in your A-level exam. Never before, I'm telling you. It's the first time that he has asked us to prepare the DB Limited, but it's an easy thing to go for. It's not difficult at all. Why, sir? Dekhen. We are basically considering Sarah's books. In Sarah's books, what entries Sarah will pass regarding DB Limited? Whatever entries Sarah needs to pass regarding DB Limited, those entries will affect the DB Limited account. So first entry is given over here. Regarding the purchase consideration, that DB Limited is debited with 2,40,000 because of realization account. Why, sir? क्योंकि हमने पैसे उससे लेने हैं ये. Now, how DB Limited, how we are getting the amount from DB Limited, that we are getting it through bank, that is 30,000, and the remaining we are getting it through shares, so ordinary share, and that is going to be how much? That is 2,10,000. Again, we don't need to show premium separately. Why? Because we are not preparing the balance sheet. If you want to go for this entry, if you want to, this will be like this. Shares and DB Limited is going to be credited. So this is how I have passed the entry. The DB Limited is credited by 2,40,000 because of bank and because of ordinary share. If you go for the total, the both sides will be equal. Now let's prepare the bank account. I have prepared DB Limited account, which is the requirement of the question. Now I'm going to prepare the bank account. But before preparing the bank account, my dear, you have to prepare the capital account first. So I will prepare the capital account first, and then we can prepare the bank account. Sir, why? If you just have an idea about business purchase, you know that we have to capital account needs to be prepared after realization account, and then we will move forward. So what amount of capital is given regarding Sarah? So Sarah's capital account balance is, this is capital, Sarah, 1,23,000. Okay. So I will write brought down here 123,000. Then here comes realization profit. And that is how much? 1,09,000. Right? Then if any asset is taken over by Sarah, we will write that asset. But no asset has been taken over by Sarah. No liability has been paid through realization account. No asset has been taken over by Sarah. So we have already credited the brought down balance and the realization profit. Now we have to close the account, and the account is going to be closed with ordinary shares, which we are paying to him. And the remaining amount is going to be closed with the 2,10,000 with the bank. Yes, it is servo 30,000 that will be adjusted automatically. So you will go for the total on the credit side and you will balance the two sides, and the difference will come with the name bank. So whatever amount is left is paid through bank. The total on the credit side, what amount will be the credit side? Total will be 2 lakh. How much?
32.
Yes. And the bank amount is going to be 22,000. So 22,000 we have paid through bank. Okay, you can pass the entry for this also. Sir, how come? Let's see. Sarah capital debit and bank is going to be credit. With which amount? With 22,000. Sarah capital account is debited because of bank, and bank is going to be credited because of Sarah. That will also come. Now I'm going to prepare the bank account. Bank, there is given 12,000 bank. So here's the brought down 12,000. Then what amount has been received? Paid through bank. One, we have paid the short-term loan that we have paid through 20,000, and the amount we have received from DB Limited, that will also come on the debit side, that is 30,000. The cash they have given, here it is. So bank is basically increasing here. Bank asset is increasing by 30,000, and the remaining amount will be through shares. Through this, we have prepared the DB Limited account. So now the bank is debited by 30,000. Loan we have paid by 22,000, and the remaining amount basically we have paid to Sarah. Sarah capital will come, and that amount is already given, that is 22,000. So we'll go for the total of the bank account. The two sides will always automatically comes equal, क्योंकि जो भी पैसे थे वो हमने इसको पे कर दिए. अब ये सारा कैपिटल अकाउंट के पैसे आप बैलेंसिंग फिगर से बैंक अकाउंट से भी निकाल सकते हैं, और सारा कैपिटल अकाउंट के पैसे आप कैपिटल अकाउंट से भी निकाल सकते हैं. लेकिन याद रखिएगा, we have adopted the method that we used to prepare capital account first. We debited with the payment we made either through shares or debentures, and the remaining amount is closed with the name bank account. We'll follow the same procedure. We will not change the procedure. I won't prepare the bank account first. I will prepare the capital account first. So this is how I have solved this question regarding the Sarah's point of view, regarding the business which is basically going for dissolution for the closure of the books of the Sarah. Now I'm going to prepare the balance sheet, which is also required in the question, that you have to prepare the balance sheet of DB Limited company separately. And now I have to go for a different calculation, because I have to prepare statement of financial position for DB Limited. And this will be solved from the point of view of new company. So now I'm going to solve the new company's balance sheet, and it will start from obviously non-current assets. But before going to that, I have to go for some calculation. And that is the calculation for goodwill. So assets taken over, I will write the assets taken over first. Non-current assets 2,03,000, inventory 14,000. So let me write. Non-current asset have been taken over at 2,03,000. Then inventory has been taken over at 14,000.
Sir,
GG. Other assets will come also.
sir, I have to ask, what's the best way to find goodwill?
This is the way to find goodwill which are going for. That is the best one. That we have to,
Sir,
like, we have to write the assets, non-current assets, not at 120 because we have taken over non-current asset at 123,000. Inventory has been taken over at 14,000. But if nothing is given, like trade receivable, so that will be taken over at 15,000, whatever the value is given. As I discussed with you, 15,000. As I discussed with you that bank can never be taken over, so it will not come. I will go for the total and I will subtract the liabilities from this, and that will be only trade payable. Total कितना आता है फरीद बताइएगा? These are the assets of only Sara's business, and the liability of Sara business will come, that is 21,000. क्योंकि 20,000 जो है वो तो सारा ने खुद ही पे कर दिया, वो टेक ओवर नहीं हुई. उसने कहा है कि वो टेक ओवर नहीं करनी है. आप टोटल कितना आ रहा है ये? 232,000. Loan, yes, okay. You have missed that point basically. It's not quite easy. The loan has been paid. I have passed the entry when I was preparing the Sara's books, loan debit and bank credit. Loan is finished. The liability is decreased with the full amount of 20,000 because that is not taken over and we have paid the loan through bank. अगर हम इसको रिलेशन अकाउंट में ट्रांसफर कर देते तब भी हम इसको एंड पे बैंक के थ्रू ही पे करते. एडजस्टमेंट इफेक्ट वही आना था. उसके बाद ट्रेड पेबल आपके हैं जी 21,000 के. माइनस करें कितना आता है जी? व्हाट आर द नेट एसेट्स?
211.
211,000. And the purchase consideration which has been decided between the parties, between the two parties, agreed value you can say one and the same thing, that is 2,40,000. So whatever amount we are paying extra, that is basically goodwill, and the goodwill is going to be how much? 29,000. So for that reason, I have calculated. I go for this calculation. Otherwise, the balance sheet will be difficult to prepare because it has goodwill also. So we have intangible assets other than non-current asset, which is goodwill. So let's talk about now to prepare the balance sheet. We have to see the DB Limited company. It has already non-current assets, Fatma. 7,22,000 के non-current asset हैं उसके अपने, और कुछ non-current asset भाई वो खरीद रहा है. किससे? सारा से. कितने के? 2,03,000 के. इसको ऐड कर देंगे हम. 7,22,000 प्लस 2,03,000 जी. How much it will come? 9,25,000. अगर मैं गलत नहीं कह रहा तो. Okay. Then goodwill will come. That is 29,000. That is intangible. That is known as intangible non-current asset. And the total will become the total assets, total non-current assets. ये भी intangible non-current assets ही कहलाते हैं. Total कितना आ जाएगा आपका बेटा? If you can do it for me.
954.
Okay. 954,000. Now I will go for the calculation of current assets. Again, the current assets will be combined. We'll start from inventory first. If we have the current assets of DB Limited, so that current asset will be combined with the inventory which we have purchased from Sara. That is there. We'll go for the purchase. Inventory is there, 1,01,000. And Sara's inventory is 14,000. जो हमने take over की. 1,01,000 plus 14,000. How much it will come?
115. 115.
115,000. Then comes trade receivable. trade receivable, if you just look at the question, trade receivables are 76,000 for DB Limited. And if we talk about Sara, which we have purchased, 15,000. So I'll write both of them. 76,000 plus 15,000. How much it will become now? 91,000. If I'm not wrong.
91.
Yes.
91.
Yes. Then if you talk about bank, there is a problem. Sir, what problem? This is the bank of Sara. The bank of DB Limited is 24,000 and DB Limited is paying to Sara 30,000. So DB Limited is going to have a bank overdraft of 6,000. Sir, how come? देखिए ना, भाई DB Limited is basically paying in settlement. He is paying 30,000, my dear. So it means that he has only 24,000 in his bank account. So if he will pay more than 24,000, his bank account will go to the bank overdraft. The bank will go to the bank overdraft actually. ठीक है जी. तो बैंक ओवरड्राफ्ट चला जाएगा हमारा 6,000 का. वो हम तब बनाएंगे जब हम उसकी बैलेंस शीट जो है वो हम बना रहे हैं, तो हम उसको उस टाइम पर जो है वो चेक करेंगे और देखेंगे. आगे चलते हैं जी. उसको अब छोड़ देते हैं हम. और कोई करंट एसेट नहीं है तो बस इसका टोटल कर लें. टोटल एसेट्स मुझे बता दें फिर कितने आ रहे हैं आपके.
वन वन सिक्स जीरो.
नहीं 1160 नहीं. दिस विल कम 206,000. पहले वो निकालना है ना.
सर मैं टोटल एसेट करा था. टोटल
हाँ
करा.
यस. और ये आ जाएगा 1160,000 इज द टोटल एसेट्स. नाउ आई विल गो विद द इक्विटी एंड liabilities. So first I'm going to write the equity. Equity may you need to write the ordinary shares first. So let's see what ordinary shares we have already issued. DB Limited has ordinary shares of 4 lakh, but he has issued 1,50,000 more shares to 1,50,000 more shares he has issued to Sara, because I have to write it at a price of with par value, with face value. So this will become 5,50,000. Then comes share premium, and that we have calculated that is 60,000 is the share premium. So वो कैसे? Let me check. Let me make you see. There is no share premium, right, for DB Limited, but we have issued share premium. We have issued share premium. Not possible. We have issued share premium. That is written over here. 1,50,000 into 0.4, 60,000 is the share premium. So I write it down. Retained earnings is 4,64,000. I'm going to write retained earnings. 4,64,000. Let's go for the total of this. I will get the total. That is going to be 1,074,000. Right? Then comes non-current liabilities. If I'm not wrong, maybe in this question we don't have a non-current liability, Fatma. शायद इसमें non-current liability जो है वो नहीं है मौजूद. अगर मौजूद नहीं है तो अच्छी बात है. नहीं है, हमें कौन सी चाहिए? हमें तो चाहिए कि सवाल ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा आसान ही हो. तो there comes now the current liabilities, and for current liabilities we have the bank overdraft first. I will write so that I should not miss it. That is 24,000 minus 30,000. So it will become 6,000 negative because they have paid the amount to him. ये current liability में चले जाएगा. And the other thing is going to be the trade payables. So trade payable has been taken over and the amount of trade payable is 21,000. But what are the amount of trade payables DB Limited is having? That is 59,000. 59,000 trade payables of DB Limited and 21,000 of trade payables of Sara
80.
will become the total trade payables. That is going to be 80,000 and the total will be 86,000. Now you can go for the total of the balance sheet also, which will be equal to the above side. That is 1160 triple zero. So this is how total assets are equal to the total capital and total equity and liabilities. So this is how we have prepared the balance sheet also for this question. This question is basically a very comprehensive question, I must say. That's why I have uh, solved this question, Fareed, at the very last. Why? Because it covers almost both the parts. In this question, you have to go for the whole procedure of resolution also, and it covers also the balance sheet. But he has made the question compact. Compact means he had made the question little simple so that the uh, students should do all the stuff by themselves. But all things are fine. What happened? Student used to confuse this whole procedure, which is right in front of your screen. This is from the new company's point of view. And this part which I have solved, this is from the dissolving business point of view, either sole trader or partnership. In that business, we have to prepare the realization account. We used to prepare the capital accounts, close with bank account, and then we have to prepare the capital account, and then we have to prepare the bank account. But there is new thing which has never come in the paper, that is DB limited account. Though it is quite easy, but it has never come in the paper. Just two entries have been there. DB limited to realization account डेबिट हो रहा है because of realization account, और फिर बैंक और ऑर्डिनरी शेयर हमने उसे क्लोज कर दिया. तो वो भी मैंने आपको सिखा दी. राइट, देख लें. फातिमा, फरीद, तौसीफ, कोई प्रॉब्लम है तो बताएं. अक्टूबर नवंबर 22-32 का सवाल है. यू कैन सॉल्व दैट एट होम अगेन. एनी प्रॉब्लम यू कैन आस्क मी. यू हैव माय व्हाट्सएप नंबर आल्सो. Thank you very much. This ends our chapter. Now we'll move forward towards the company accounts.